On the evening of May 3, 2007, Madeleine McCann, a 3-year-old British girl, disappeared from her family's holiday apartment in the resort town of Praia da Luz in the Algarve region of southern Portugal. The McCann family, consisting of parents Kate and Gerry McCann, along with Madeleine and her 2-year-old twin siblings, were vacationing at the Ocean Club Resort with a group of family friends. Praia da Luz is a quiet seaside town, popular with British tourists. The McCanns had arrived on April 28, 2007, eager for a relaxing holiday. Madeleine was a bright, lively child, and her parents were well-regarded professionals. Kate was a GP, general practitioner, and Gerry was a cardiologist. The night of the disappearance. On the evening of May 3rd, the McCann family followed their routine, putting the children to bed at around 7:30 p.m. in their ground floor apartment, 5A. The adults in the group, known as the Tapas 7, planned to have dinner at the resort's Tapas restaurant, located about 50 meters, 160 feet, away from the apartment. The restaurant was close enough that they could periodically check on their children without using a babysitter, which was their agreed-upon arrangement throughout the trip. The McCanns and their friends took turns every 20 to 30 minutes to return to their respective apartments to check on their children. This system, they believed, allowed them to enjoy dinner while ensuring the kids were safe. Timeline of events. 8:30 p.m. The McCanns left their apartment for dinner, having already put Madeleine and her younger siblings to bed. Madeleine was left sleeping in her bed, while her siblings were in a cot nearby. 9:05 p.m. Gerry McCann made his first check on the children. Everything seemed normal, and he returned to the Tapas restaurant. 9:30 p.m. Family friend Matthew Oldfield offered to check on the McCann children during his own round of checks on his kids. However, he only glanced into the room but didn't go in far enough to see if Madeleine was in her bed, relying on the quietness of the room to assume the children were sleeping. 10 p.m. Kate McCann went for her check. When she entered the apartment, she found the door to the children's room wide open. Madeleine's bed was empty. Panicked, Kate searched the apartment but found no trace of her daughter. Rushing back to the restaurant, she raised the alarm, shouting, "Madeleine's gone! Someone's taken her!" The search begins. As soon as Kate alerted the group, the entire resort was thrown into a frantic search for Madeleine. Resort staff, tourists, and locals scoured the area, calling out her name and searching every possible hiding spot. Despite their best efforts, there was no sign of Madeleine that night. The Portuguese police were called around 10:30 p.m., and by midnight, the local police force, GNR, Guarda Nacional Republicana, arrived to start their search. However, several early mistakes were made. The crime scene, the McCann's apartment, was not immediately sealed off, allowing numerous people, including resort staff, friends, and family members, to come in and out, potentially contaminating evidence. The border with Spain wasn't closed for several hours, which allowed for the possibility of Madeleine being taken across borders. The investigation. The initial investigation by the Portuguese police was plagued by missed opportunities and procedural errors. One of the first theories they considered was that Madeleine had wandered off on her own and had either fallen into a nearby construction site or been picked up by someone. However, as time passed and no trace of Madeleine was found, the focus shifted to a possible abduction. The Polícia Judiciária, PJ, Portugal's primary criminal investigation force, took over the case. Early in the investigation, suspicions were cast widely, and numerous leads were pursued. Possible sighting: a British holidaymaker, Jane Tanner, who was part of the McCann's dinner group, reported seeing a man carrying a child in his arms near the apartment complex around 9:15 p.m., a few minutes after Gerry McCann's check. She described the child as wearing pink pajamas, similar to those Madeleine had been wearing. Abductor theory: this sighting led to the development of a theory that Madeleine had been abducted by an intruder, possibly while the McCann group was dining nearby. Turning of suspicion on the McCanns. As the weeks dragged on without significant breakthroughs, tension grew between the Portuguese police and the McCanns. In September 2007, after months of investigation, the focus of the police investigation shifted, and both Kate and Jerry McCann were named as arguidos, formal suspects. The PJ began considering the possibility that Madeleine may have died accidentally in the apartment, and that her parents had covered it up. This shocking turn of events made headlines across the world, further complicating the case. The McCanns vehemently denied any involvement, maintaining that Madeleine had been abducted. Despite these accusations, the Portuguese authorities were unable to find conclusive evidence to charge the McCanns, and in July 2008, the case was officially closed, with both parents being cleared of suspicion. International attention. The McCanns never stopped searching for their daughter. They launched an international media campaign, setting up the Find Madeleine Fund and hiring private investigators to continue looking for clues. The case quickly became one of the most publicized missing person cases in history. British tabloids closely followed the story, often speculating wildly, and millions of pounds were raised in donations. Celebrities like J.K. Rowling, David Beckham, and Richard Branson lent their support, helping keep the case in the public eye. In 2011, Scotland Yard launched Operation Grange to review the case, working with Portuguese authorities to look for fresh leads. The investigation continued for years, but no conclusive evidence ever emerged regarding Madeleine's whereabouts. Theories and developments. Over the years, many theories have emerged about what happened to Madeleine. 1. Abduction by human traffickers. Some investigators believe Madeleine may have been kidnapped by a pedophile or human trafficking ring, possibly smuggled out of Portugal soon after her abduction. 2. Accidental death. The theory that Madeleine accidentally died in the apartment, and that her parents may have been involved in a cover-up remains controversial, despite a lack of evidence. 3. Burglary gone wrong. Some theories suggest that Madeleine was abducted during a botched burglary, possibly by individuals who panicked and took her when she woke up. Recent developments. In June 2020, German authorities named a new suspect, Christian Bruckner, a convicted sex offender who had been living in the Algarve at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. Bruckner was already in prison for other crimes, including the sexual abuse of children. German prosecutors announced that they believed Madeleine was dead and that Bruckner was responsible. However, as of 2024, no formal charges have been filed, and the case remains unsolved. Legacy. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann remains one of the most high-profile missing person cases in modern history. Despite extensive investigations by both Portuguese and British authorities, no definitive answers have emerged. The case continues to generate significant media interest and has spurred countless documentaries, books, and discussions about the nature of child abductions, media sensationalism, and the failures of law enforcement.